welcome to the third episode of the Scavengers Season 2 Create Arcane Engineering. Wow, episode 3 already, that's quite an achievement if I say so myself. Today we will be working on the farm, or well, the juicing part of the farm, actually doing some automation like I promised in the last episode. And also, like I promised in the last episode, I did some building over here. I'm super happy with how this place turned out. And I guess I can do a little tour. So over here at the gates, we have, well, like two little support pillar things, to like kind of frame out the entrance. I'm then continuing with the brick pattern that we started previously. Little path, some water, because, well, it's a lush cave, it would be kind of wet, so I wanted to try having these like little puddles. I was afraid that I would fall in them, but so far not. Well, I did just now, but because I was walking. We then have a staircase that follows down here to this farm area. Some more waterfalls with clay bricks over here. I really love how this place turned out. And then we have the farm. And the path kind of cuts off over here. You can see that I try to mimic like it ending. That's because I am not sure where this goes. So I'm just leaving it open like that instead of just like hard cut off point to make it feel more natural. And any of the scavengers are, well, free to come here and use this path however they feel or think it would be worth to use it. But you can see that over here there's a little entrance downstairs. Tamago helped me dig this out in our last session, and over here is where we're gonna place our juicing setup. Yes, I know Create is such a pretty mod with all these moving parts and stuff, but let me show you something. This is the setup that we're gonna build. This was built in my creative testing world, trying to get a rough idea, and no matter how much I tried, I couldn't get this to look nice. So we're just gonna hide it underground with some user interface with barrels, lights, and the tanks being visible. And also over here it connects to our well, very rudimentary wiring of the setup. And as we can see, I've left this setup running over the week. Yes, it's a week later after we've made these farms. And we finally accumulated a lot of mage blooms. So I'm going to empty this barrel because theoretically we lost some already. And let's keep this farm working. And speaking of Tamago helping out, we went out and got some animals. We got some rabbits because we will need rabbits' hides soon enough. We also got some cows just so we have a source of leather and some meat. I went out and got two villagers over here. These villagers are just temporary addition. Definitely not gonna stay here because of lag. Same for the animals. But they are here temporarily just so we have something. Tamago went out and got some sheep so that we have a source of wool. And I think over here, yeah, over here are some chickens. All of these will be very useful, mainly for food, and the villagers so that we can get some mending books. We also did some base expansions. This was my work. I've expanded on my fishing area to make it more cozy and homely. Really happy with how this turned out with these corals and seagrass and this kind of like algae building up near the water wheel. I really like that. As well as my personal fishing spot, but in all honesty, I much rather prefer sitting on this lily pad. Oh, bufferfish. And over here in the machine area, Tamago made an elevator. It leads to the future lower expansions of the base. We're currently under the water wheels or under the tech area. You can see the farms over there. And I think Tamago has some plans for this area, so I'm not gonna do much with it yet. What? Oh. Yeah, that's not good. That's a fire hazard. But now it's time to get started working on the actual automation part. I already prepared most of the main components that we're gonna need. By main components, I mean, well, the actual interactables. In regards to stuff like shafts, cogs, I'll just have to make that on the fly because I'm not sure how much space how much of those we'll actually need. But let's get started, I guess. And this is exactly where it all went wrong. You see, Create is sort of like programming for me. It's really easy to do on your own, but it's really hard to do when someone is watching. I had this super awesome plan to make modular factories with components that could easily expand on if we needed higher throughput. I had this flowchart that perfectly described what needed to be done, but once I actually started, it all fell apart. The mechanical presses were simple. Figured out that I just needed one for each crop and it would be more than enough for now. The mixers, well, those were made in a way where I could easily add more if we needed higher throughput. Once again, simple. But that's where the simplicity ended. Here is where it all went downhill and started turning into glorious and delicious spaghetti of pipes, cogs, and belts. And this is what we ended up with. Yeah. So just for a recap, this is where the two squeezers are, or mechanical pressers I should say. The crops are belted over to here, where they are squeezed, then they are piped up into the tanks above that we saw. From there, they are piped back down here to this setup that's, like I said, was made to be expandable. I could just easily add more basins and easily hook them up without any issues. And those get piped once again up to the tanks. But this is where everything went south. This tank is hooked up through a pipe down here to this spout, which just spouts onto a bowl that goes on this belt. Then right over here, the smoothie that's made is drained and then washed. The drained liquid goes into this tank over here, and the leaves that have a chance to drop are deposited onto a belt. The bowl that is left over goes back to this barrel over here through chinky belts. The leaves that we get are then taken to over here, where they are cut up into a mage fiber. The mage bloom fiber is then crushed or crafted in this basin with the mechanical press into parchments, which are then deposited into this basin over here, where they are mixed in with the impure source into pure source. The setup is not expandable. The setup is pure spaghetti. But it works. And this is the exact reason I haven't released a single game yet. But all jokes aside, this is more than enough for us. I was worried that this wouldn't even fill up, but as you can see, it's full. Everything is full. Everything is backed up and stopped working. And there really isn't any bottleneck aside from the mage blooms, which we can actually craft now that we have the source. But yeah, I spent like half a day on this. I'm tired. I don't care that the video is like, what, 8 minutes long? I'm tired, exhausted. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.